Hey, babes, and welcome back to the Booze Free Babes podcast. Here we are, available on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and a full video replay on YouTube. Check out Booze Free Babes podcast and boozefreebabes.co. Today, we are so excited to be joined by Angela Humphries. She is a longtime friend of mine, and we are familiar in another networking group. We'll talk about that in just a second. But let me tell you a little bit about Angela first. Angela Humphries is a UK military veteran, entrepreneur, and the founder of So Fabulous LLC and the co-founder of On Point Personal Defense. In 1999, through personal conviction, Angela chose to give up alcohol, a decision that has shaped the clarity, discipline, and values she brings to both her life and her businesses. She now leads a thriving team at So Fabulous, a nationally recognized alterations and embroidery studio that also trains the next generation of seamstresses through apprenticeship programs. Through On Point Personal Defense, she teaches practical safety, firearms education, CPR, and life-saving medical training. Because of her commitment to sobriety and inclusivity, Angela intentionally keeps every class and training she teaches alcohol-free, so they are welcoming and accessible to everyone. Angela is passionate about helping people build confident, capable lives through practical skills, strong values, and the courage to live aligned with their convictions. Angela, thank you so much for joining the show today. Welcome. So happy to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So Angela and I met, I think we met originally in just networking circles, but most recently we've connected through the Dames, which is another networking group that I'm a member of. And so through that connection, we've been able to get to know each other on a much deeper level. And that's how I learned that you were sober. You shared that with me. And so I appreciate you being open with me and sharing that in that community. Tell us a little bit about what drove you to that decision in 99 to choose a booze-free life.
Well, I became a Christian in May 1998, and there are mixed thoughts about whether Christians should be drinking at all or not. And I kept praying and praying and praying about it, and I felt 100% conviction that God wants me to stop drinking. It's something that I didn't have under control. I didn't have to drink every day, but when I did drink, I drank excessively. I used alcohol as a stepping stone. I portray this outgoing personality, but it's not. I get very nervous in new situations. So I would drink alcohol to take away that edge so I wouldn't be nervous. And obviously, if it's mind altering, it's still excessive because it's adjusting mentally. So I would say I drank excessively. And then I continued drinking. I started drinking at a very early age. I'm European, so we have wine at the table with more water than wine at a young age. So by the time you're legally able to drink, you have a very good tolerance. I say very good, it's not necessarily good, but you have a tolerance for alcohol. But I was certainly drinking excessively and using it as a crutch to overcome other shortcomings in my life.
Sure, absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of us lean into those behaviors, right? And so
Yeah.
it's interesting that you mentioned that growing up European, it's definitely more normalized. And you could probably say one of two things, two camps on that. There are people that can normalize drinking and drink in a normal setting like that and not take it to excess. And then there's people that, like to take it to excess. I'm the latter.
Yep. Same. I enjoy the taste as well. I enjoy the taste from what I remember. I mean, I haven't touched alcohol since then, but I enjoy the taste. I enjoyed the social setting. I enjoyed everything about it.
And the
And the
interesting
feelings.
And the interesting thing too is that you said that you're actually more of an introvert, but I have to tell you guys, if you meet Angela out in the community, she is anything but an introvert, and we love that about your energy and your spirit and your openness to talk about things like this. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. It needs to be normal. And it needs to be okay to not drink alcohol. And people have their own reasons. And I don't mind if people ask me why, but I think we should normalize not asking people why. Not everybody wants to share.
completely agree with that. And I think it starts with conversations like this, and it starts with people being more vocal about their choices. And a beautiful thing that's happened just naturally, I feel like, with this younger generation is that they could really care less about alcohol. And so, what a beautiful blessing that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So grateful to see that. All right, so tell us a little bit about your initiative at So Fabulous. I want to hear all about both of your businesses, and I really want to hear about the apprenticeship program. That's just fascinating to me.
Thank you. Yes. We've had the alterations business for 10 years, started it in my home just for something to do. My youngest went to school. We were new in town. I didn't know anyone, and I started sewing. One client told another client, who told another client, who told another client, and now we're a staff of 15. And as far as I know, we're the largest in the state, possibly the largest in the country, quite likely the largest in the country for alterations. Um, we're launching a school. We've done a couple of classes here and there, and we're going to be doing some more. It sounded cute, sip and sew. And I thought, oh, Friday night, sip and sew sounds cute. I mean, it does sound cute, but it goes against what I believe. I don't like it when I go to an environment, and it's not that I don't like when there's alcohol. So often I feel that it's the focus. We've got to have mimosas, in the middle of the day, or we've got to, we have to serve alcohol to make an event attractive. And that just goes against what I believe. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to meet the market. As a business owner, you look at where the market is, and that's where I thought, okay, that's where the market is. Serve alcohol, sip and sew, come and have a glass of wine and learn to sew. But I want a safe environment for everybody. It doesn't bother me if someone else is drinking alcohol. I can still say no, I'm strong enough in where I stand on that now, but not everybody is. It could be as well that someone had a bigger problem and just the smell of alcohol sets them back, or just makes them start thinking about it. I don't want to be that stumbling block for someone else. More than anything, I don't want to be the stumbling block. I want to be an encouragement that this is safe. You can come here, and it's okay if you say you had a problem. It's also okay if you don't say anything at all. Alcohol or no alcohol is not the focus. The focus is learning to sew. We can
Right.
choose to make it alcohol free. If you want to bring snacks, whatever, go for it, but it's alcohol free. And if anyone does bring alcohol, we'll just ask them politely, hey, could you put that away, please? This is an alcohol free event. So there was that element. Also, I don't want the personal responsibility of counting how much alcohol someone has consumed on my premises. Even if I'm not serving it, they bring their own. But if they leave from here, I'm known in the community. I don't want that responsibility. I certainly don't want it to reflect poorly on the business. But more than anything, I want an inclusive environment where it's safe for everybody. So it's for me, it's an easy choice. Just don't serve it.
I think that is so bold and courageous. I really do. And I love seeing that these events are popping up now
Yeah,
that don't serve alcohol. And
yeah.
it's not so much about, I can't be in an environment where alcohol is or is served. It's more about being in an inclusive environment where the
Hmm.
focus is on the activity and not on,
Yeah,
getting hammered.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's fascinating. All right, I'm going to shift gears for a little bit. I know you had mentioned in your bio that you're doing the school, and that's going to be an apprenticeship, right? And so, didn't you have a certain demographic that you're serving with the apprenticeship
Yeah.
program?
There's any demographic with both the school. The school is not just an apprenticeship program. The apprenticeship program is part of the school. The There's a couple of choices. The first one is just as an alteration specialist, and the other main one right now is an embroidery technician, where you come in with no skills, and we teach you how to do all of these and function. And of course, you're paid while you learn, so it is a job. But and we'll teach pretty much anyone according to the space we have. We have a few people going through it, but my heart is with women coming out of domestic violence situations and women coming out of trafficking. I say women, it would be men or women, but it's typically women. And my goal is to give them a skill so that they can be self-sufficient and just move on with life and not rely on whether it's someone that's trafficking them if they've been trafficked for their whole adult life, they don't have any self-sufficiency skills. So we want to come alongside them. You can be self-sufficient, you can learn these skills. And also women that are coming out of domestic violence situations. Okay, learn these skills, and you don't have to rely on him. You don't have to go back to him. You're strong enough. You're capable. You can do this. We have to get women from outside the area, though, because we can't obviously have local women, and that would be a risk to them. And we
Well, that
can't
makes
obviously
sense.
can't do that. So
I didn't
I'm involved.
I didn't think about that when you had mentioned that previously, but I just love the passion that you're aligning your business with, other resources, collaborating with other organizations to help bring this to fruition. And
Yes.
I just think it's so beautiful when that synergy happens, especially in our local community.
Yeah, I mean, we can all play a part. I can't solve the problem. I can make a difference for one person. Hopefully more than one, but if it's one, that's enough. I'm involved with Bikers Against Trafficking, so we know who's in the area. We're particularly involved with foster kids right now. So if those kids want to come and do a camp, they can come and do a camp. If mum needs a night off, she can come and do a class free of charge. This is just a small way of giving back to the community, but it's a large part of my why.
Wow. And where can we find out more information about that? Would that be on your website?
It's going up on the website real soon. It's being worked on, but it will certainly be released on social media. But there are a couple of classes listed on the website already.
All right. I'm going to get you to share that website with us.
Yes. www.sofabuloussomerville.com.
Fantastic. All right, we'll make sure we mention that a couple more times and put it in the show notes for you so people know how to find you.
Good. We have a good following on Facebook as well.
You sure do. I love following all your stuff on Facebook. She's quite present on social media, guys, so be sure to check her out on Facebook as well. So I want to shift gears. I know you have another business called On Point Personal Defense, and if I remember correctly, you're partners with your husband on that?
Yes.
And
Yes.
he's sober too, right?
Yes. Yes. He was sober when we met. That's not how we met. I say it's just fortunate. It's the way God planned it. But
I
yes,
think that was a divine intervention that happened. What a
yes.
beautiful thing to have happen.
Yeah, it's such a huge thing, and it can be challenging enough to stick with that. I have questioned it over the years, but I know that that's just my desire, not God's will. And if I didn't have a husband that was sober, I probably would not still be sober today.
Wow. Wow, that support system is huge. I'm so grateful that
It
you have
is,
it.
yeah, it is.
Especially in a married couple. My husband's
Yes,
not in; he doesn't work a program or anything like that. But it's not really an issue for us, which is great. But
right,
at one time, we were partying buddies, right?
yeah,
So
mhm,
having that shift in our relationship, we found more ways to have fun. So that's
yeah,
fun too. Exciting to find new
yeah,
things to do.
it is.
And that kind of brings me to On Point Personal Defense because I know that you guys have had classes with that too. And I'd love for you to share about the classes that you offer, and they're also booze free.
Yes, very much so. We start with things like situational awareness, image-based decisional drills. These are skills that anybody could learn. Pepper spray, all the way up through pistol skills. We teach CWP and basic pistol. I'd say our flagship class is our first shots class, and that is taking people who have not handled a firearm or have handled it but are not comfortable or a little insecure. And we go very slowly through the class. It's a 4-hour class because I think a whole day for a new skill, if you're already nervous, and everyone should be nervous handling a firearm, 8 hours I think is too long. So we make it a 4-hour class. Most of it's inside the classroom, focusing on safety. I had 3D guns printed, so they're all plastic, they're lightweight, but they are an exact replica of particular models that I just chose to have done. And then when we go out onto the range, if someone's ready to shoot, great. We start them off on a 22 because there's barely any kick on that. They don't have to bring anything. I don't want to say buy things to come take class. We get a lot of people take the class that are not sure if they're interested. And I say, hey, come take the class and see what you think. You don't have to shoot. You don't have to have a gun afterwards, just come and find out. And it's also a very good class for someone who's maybe their partner carries a firearm. They should know the safety. They should know what to do. You know, what if their partner gets sick and they have to disarm them before they go to the hospital, or anything, or their partner decides to have a couple of beers. If you're having a couple of beers, you should take your firearm off and give it to someone else. So it's very heavily focused on safety, but then getting those first shots out and under the belt. Not a lot of shooting. No gear is required. When I first took classes, it was with a load of men with just tactical gear hanging off them. Come with what you wear on a regular day, and we go from there. It's
I
very,
love
very
it.
simple class. And then we teach the medical skills that go with that. They're all separate classes so people can choose what they're ready for.
It's fascinating. And I love the fact that you guys 3D printed fake guns. And if I remember you telling me this story correctly, they're in these bright colors that you would never have for a gun. So it's
Yes.
very less intimidating, which I think is huge.
Yeah. We wanted it to be less intimidating, and we never want, I mean, they're put away, obviously, but still, we never want them to get into the wrong hands and used for the wrong thing. And the worst case scenario would be a child gets shot because they have a fake gun. Well, guess what? It's orange, it's blue. One of them is multicolored. It's blue, orange, and yellow. It's obvious these are not real. So
Right.
we take away that intimidation factor. When we shoot, we also have the students load one round at a time. So they know the gun is only going to go off once. If they drop it, which sometimes people do, they know, don't catch it, because we tell people don't catch a falling firearm, because if you catch the trigger, you have no idea where the muzzle's facing. That can be catastrophic. So we say, hey, there's one round. If you drop it because you're scared or whatever, it's okay. You know there's only one round because you already put one in there.
Right.
So, and again, I just wanted baby steps. I looked for holes in the training field. I mean, there's lots of instructors teaching lots of really good classes. I couldn't find classes like this that start at the very beginning and go very slowly.
I think that's important, especially, when you're talking about situational awareness and living in a big city and just,
Yeah.
we're all working a lot and just being aware of our surroundings. That's so
Yeah.
important. And especially survivors of domestic violence or
Yes.
even human trafficking survivors. I think that can be a really important skill set for them to learn as well.
Yes.
So what a passionate mission. I just love that you're
Yes.
taking all of these skill sets that you have and creating something really beautiful that can give back to the community in a beautiful way.
Yes. Thank you. We do put the families with the trafficked children through our classes free of charge. We also show them how to secure their homes. My husband has put together a great program of how to make their homes secure. And we're making more and more contacts in the community as word gets out. Hey, could you show our women how to do this? And we do a lot of that.
Yes, and I think that's a great idea to have, especially for these women's organizations, at least having a situational awareness class. We should talk about that and do one of
Yeah.
those in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I think we hit on, I wanted to know, do you have a separate website for On Point Personal Defense?
We do, and that is what it is. It's onpointpersonaldefense.com. It's hopefully be up by the end of today. We've had some technical issues, and the problem is me. Just somebody designed the website. All I had to do was launch it, and I do not. Hey, I'm creative. I sew stuff and I shoot guns. I don't do websites. So, but we will get that going. But our classes will also be listed on shootingclasses.com.
Okay, fantastic. Shootingclasses.com and then also on social media.
Yeah, social media. Our stuff all gets posted there.
Fantastic. We'll make sure that we link all of that in the show notes for you guys. So tell us if there's anything else that you'd like to share for somebody that is getting newly sober. What could be some great tips or feedback that you'd like to share with them or our audience?
One day at a time, one step at a time, one choice at a time, and one bad choice can be one bad choice. Don't make it two bad choices, because two leads to three, leads to four. And you know what? If you do get up to four or whatever the number is, scale back, come back, start again. There's always fresh opportunities. Never, don't quit. Don't look at setbacks as failures. They're just hiccups in the road.
Wow, that is so beautiful. And thank you for sharing that wisdom because, you know, I feel like sometimes we can easily overthink it, right? We have very overactive minds generally, and so it's something that can be over we can definitely overthink it and just staying focused on one day at a time and keeping it simple.
Yeah, we get caught up in ourselves and we're hard on ourselves, and then you feel like a failure, and then we wear that label as a failure. Can I cuss? Does it matter if I
Of
cuss on
course.
YouTube? I say, up in our heads, we got the itty bitty shitty committee. Don't listen to it. It will constantly tell us you're a failure. See, you couldn't do this. You're not strong enough. You know what? Pick up the pieces. I messed up. I'm going to do better again. I'm going to start again. And it doesn't matter how many times you start again. Stop listening to the committee.
Wow, that is so great. And I think that it comes from a place of a lot of recovery capital. You've been sober since 99. So the fact that you've got a lot of runway behind you, it's really easy to share that and from a genuine place because I feel like a
Yeah.
little bit more comfortable that we become in our recovery and a little bit more time that we get under our belt and then we see some of these themes that we work on in early recovery start to play out in our lives, right? And then we
Yep.
do shift and evolve into a different person. And the more time and distance that we have, not that it's about that, right? Like you said, I mean,
Yes.
if it's a hiccup in the road, just keep on going.
Keep going.
But
Yeah.
all of those, you know, road bumps, hiccups, whatever that you go over, add up over time and create some really beautiful recovery capital. And every time I talk to you, it's always such a pleasure. And I feel like that comes through. And I want to touch on one thing that you said in the very beginning about you became a Christian in 98, and it was a spiritual awakening or a
Yes.
conviction that you
Yes.
chose sobriety. And I feel like that was similar in my case too, that it was about the conversation that I had with my higher power that this is the step forward for
Yeah.
me. This
Hmm.
is the hurdle that's holding me back. And this is the thing, once I remove that or eliminate it from my life, that it's going to open up so many
Yes.
other channels and pathways for me. And it sounds like
Yeah.
that's exactly what's
Does.
happened for you too.
It still has to be a choice over and over again and every time I do a raffle, I always win the alcohol. Always, always, always. It never fails. But I just tell them, redraw my ticket. And I'm open about it. Thank you. I don't drink. Go ahead and redraw my ticket. It's. Oh, but it is still a choice because, if it's bourbon, a good bourbon, I'm like, ooh, or a good red wine. I mean, those I'd say were my most tempting. Or you go away and you pay for an all-inclusive vacation. Well, all-inclusive is priced for drinking all the alcohol, and it's like it's tempting to think, oh, I'll get my money's worth. Like I'll make them regret making this all-inclusive. But it's that choice each time. I'm choosing not to do this, coming back to my why. This is not what the Lord wants me doing. That's my why. It might be that because this is what I need to do for my family or to keep my children, or, we all have a reason for it. So it's different, but you have to come back to your why. Oh, yeah, that's why.
And I
I'm going to
love
say no.
that your why starts with spirituality and then there's these other facets as well, right? Like family and everything else, but it starts with the spiritual foundation. And this time around, that's the one thing that's been different for me is that having that connection. I think the connection is very important and
Yeah,
if you're missing that in your life, being an addict is often thought of not having that supportive
yeah,
community. And so when we
yes,
think about our faith and how supportive that can be,
yeah.
that's a huge tool in our recovery tool belt. Making that
It
connection with whatever
is.
you call God. Like, and I like to
Yeah.
share that Gus analogy, God, universe, source, whatever you call, whatever you believe, but believe in something. And it's got to be better than yourself, right? It's got to be something that's a little bit higher than
Something
yourself.
stronger, something stronger. And,
Yeah.
let's be honest, sometimes it's family that pushes you to the alcohol. So if you're relying on the family, that might not go so well. Sometimes the family is the reason we drink.
Yes, and like you said, being coming from Europe and being in a family where it's
Yep.
open and
Yeah.
that's just part of the culture.
Yeah.
It's at that point it's like, okay, we're bucking against the culture fit too. And in Charleston specifically, I know you and I have talked about this before, being that it's a drinking city, right? It
Yep.
seems like every event
Very
has
much.
alcohol and everything else. So it's really courageous in a town like this to be able to stand up and say that we don't drink and that we support
Yeah.
events without alcohol.
Yeah. Very much.
Yes, that is so strong. I love it. And I love you. And I'm so grateful that you came on the podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure talking with you.
It's always a pleasure talking to you too. And is there any like last words or anything that you want to shout out and just share with anybody in the audience?
Just stick with it. Keep going forward. Go for progress, not perfection. If that's where you are, and just keep pushing forward. Reach out if you need to. You know, if you need that little bit of encouragement, someone to pray for you, someone to cheer you on, you've been given the links, how to contact me. Don't hesitate.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much, Angela. And I'm sure that we'll see you in the community somewhere. She's everywhere, guys. So thank you for coming on the Booze Free Babes podcast. We'll be sure to link So Fabulous and On Point Personal Defense in the show notes. And it's always a pleasure, Angela. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.